Welcome to The Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of The Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to The Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. Hello, everyone. Over the last 30-some weeks, there's been a lot of feedback and a lot of questions asked of me to really explain and go into a little bit more in depth on why The Miracle You and why I ask questions and really take people in the direction of understanding and uncovering their wake-up calls, and why it's so important to find out what their next step is and what they have to offer each and every one of us to find that journey in ourselves. Well, I'm going to take this podcast and over time, every few weeks or so, add another podcast where it's just going to be you and me talking about the concepts of imagined miracles and why the Miracle You is so important to the imagination and why I want you to understand what's happening in people's lives and what's getting them to notice that they are supposed to walk in a different direction to find their own path. One of the most important things for me is the understanding that we are all unique individuals. We're all the same in that we're the same energy. We're all the same in we create the same way. But there is no one else in the world like you. There's no one else in the world like me that has these gifts and talents that we've developed through our years, and we're going to continue to develop until the day we transition into the new life or the new world, whatever you believe. And those gifts and talents are unique to you in their combination. They're unique to you in the way that they are presented in the world. So you may be really good at listening and giving advice. And yes, there's millions of people in this world that are good at listening and giving advice. But the experiences that you have had in life set you apart from the experiences that other people have had. So when you give advice, it's based on your experiences. And the same thing goes with your ability to create as an artist, as a musician. However you are creating in the world, you bring your unique experiences, your unique perceptions into that world. And I believe that each and every one of us is truly a puzzle piece that goes into the big puzzle of this earth. And for the next 2 or 3 or 4 pieces to find their niche in that puzzle, to find their space in that puzzle, you must bring yourself into that puzzle. And then allow the next people, because of what you're sharing through your gifts and talents, you allow those other people to fit into that puzzle also, to really not only uncover their gifts and talents, but also bring them to the puzzle to help create the big picture of the world that we're living in. And it's important for you to find that. So many people in my life believe that they're happy. So many people in my life are just living on autopilot. They don't think that there's any more out there. Or they believe if they act like they're happy. They believe if they act like everything is going fine, then everybody's going to believe that, and sooner or later they're going to believe it themselves. We see it every single day on social media. I know some people, not close friends, but I know some people who come across on Facebook as life being this grand adventure. But unfortunately, behind the scenes, they're living a life of fear. They're living a life of lack. And each and every one of us has the birthright to live an abundant life. Each and every one of us has the birthright to experience who we are, to attract people into our lives and circumstances into our lives that allow us to grow, allow us to experience ourselves at the fullest. And in that expansion, allow us to find the happiness that we deserve, allow us to live that miracle life, the life that we were meant to live, the life that we desire. It was no mistake that you chose to come to this earth. It was no mistake you chose when to come to this earth. So we hope through the Miracle You, you're encouraged to find your path. We hope through the work of Imagine Miracles that we can help you get on that path, stay on a straighter path, help you find you. Because truly, as I said earlier, the world needs you to be you so others in the world can be themselves. And in that community that we form, the growth and the expansion is unlimited. I just had a podcast a couple days ago where I was talking with the guest about community and the importance of community. And she was sharing that she would love to own the block that her house is on. So in that block, she could bring her family, she could bring her friends, she could bring a council together to really support each other in the growth. And that's where I'm going with the discovering yourself, to really find the real you so you can have the happiness that you want. You can feel fulfilled. But in doing that, you're setting examples for those around you. And you're also finding those people who will support you in your expansion, in your growth, in you sharing what you're here to share with the world. So that's why I brought the Miracle You to the podcast world. First of all, I wanted each and every person in this world that was called to or attracted to listening to the Miracle You to understand that we all have wake-up calls along our lives. And those wake-up calls are nothing more to get our attention, to increase our awareness. And some of those wake-up calls can be just as simple as, wow, I've been working hard my entire life and I'm still not as happy as I thought I should be at this point. Or I work really hard and I've given my family all these wonderful material things, but they're still not happy for some reason. What am I missing out on? Or I've followed all the rules. That's truly my story and the story of so many people that I've interviewed, so many people that I've talked to, so many people that are doing work similar to Imagine Miracles. They followed the rules of society. They followed the rules of their parents. They bought a book on somebody that they thought they wanted to be like, and they tried to live their life. The secret is those rules worked for them. And some of them might work for you, and it's good to do your research. It's good for you to learn how people move down their paths. But it's more important for you to take the information that you learn and bring it into your life. And it's more important for you to look at the information you learn and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Because you're not just unique in your talents and gifts, you're unique in your mission. You're unique in your quintessence, that essence of you that you bring into the world, the concentrated, true essence of you. And when you put your essence, your gifts and talents, the process that you use to bring your gifts and talents to the world together with your mission, now every moment is going to be moving along your path. There may be some diversions, but you're still always moving towards that destination to bring to the world the true you, to bring to the world the you that the world wants to experience. So the wake-up calls discussions that I have in the Miracle You are all about you seeing that if you get the understanding that there's got to be more to life than this, or I've been a mom, I've been a corporate leader, I've been a dad, and now that part of my life has changed or it's gone, who am I? Well, who you were as a mom, a dad, a corporate leader, an entrepreneur was just leading up to who you are in this moment. And imagine miracles, and through the Miracle You, we want to help you find that person, that combination that's here to share with the world, that combination of you that has information that the world needs. But it's also important for me to bring up the wake-up calls that we call conscious wake-up calls, which are those ones that I just mentioned. Because if the universe, if God, if life doesn't get your attention with those little wake-up calls, those conscious wake-up calls, then a bigger message comes. And those bigger messages, those bigger wake-up calls are really some of the things that you've heard on the podcast. Being sick and almost dying, being in a bad accident, shattering your gun hand. For me, these big wake-up calls, which we call crisis wake-up calls, there were three big ones. The first was 9/11. Just like many people who were alive during that time frame in 2001, it was a huge wake-up call for me. And it was very close to home because I'm a United Airlines pilot, as you know. And I flew one of the flights a week prior. And I lost a good friend. And that was a crisis wake-up call for me, but it didn't open my eyes. What I did was I fell back on my old ways. I fell back on the old rules that I was taught from my parents and my grandparents, from society. I just brushed it off. This could never happen to me. One of the things that makes a good pilot is the belief that things can't happen to you. But it didn't get my attention. And then the second wake-up call, and that was United Airlines bankruptcy. That was in 2003. And it was devastating for me, the losses that I experienced through that bankruptcy. I don't even know if the corporate leaders, when they took the company into bankruptcy, had any idea or even cared what happened to the individual employees through that. And although my story was devastating and it was financially debilitating, what hurt the most for me was my belief in what loyalty meant, my belief in doing a good job and working hard and being rewarded and noticed for that, all went out the window with one bankruptcy. And it really soured me towards corporations. It soured me towards life. But once again, I just went into the old set of rules. Well, I'm supposed to support my family. I'm supposed to have a big retirement, so when it's time to retire, I don't have to worry about experiencing and enjoying life. So I went out and bought another business. And all I did was perpetuate the lessons that I was supposed to learn not being addressed. And then finally, the third wake up call, as most of you know, the day I found out that my first wife wanted a divorce. And the devastation of that is what really finally opened my eyes. Now, I can't tell you that I wouldn't have experienced the other two things if I would have listened to that first wake-up call on 9/11. But I think there's a good chance that I would have looked at life differently if I didn't blow off the lesson. I didn't blow off the wake-up call. I might have looked at life different. I might have brought more into my marriage. I may have accepted that I have gifts and talents that are to be shared in the world other than just flying airplanes. Although flying airplanes is a passion for me, and I'm not going to move away from it. But it wasn't about moving into a new business just to fund retirement. It wasn't about moving into a new business just to help recover the losses financially that we had to live the life that we were accustomed to living. Because what happened through that, really, by moving into buying a new business, I just put the wheels in motion of the creation and the co-creation of the divorce. So that's why I share these wake-up calls with you, because I don't want you to experience the crisis wake-up calls. I don't want an accident to open your eyes that life should be different, or you want life to be different than it is right now. I don't want the death of a loved one to finally get your attention and where you say, I need to experience life more. I need to be happier. I need to smile more. I don't want you to go through a divorce and find out how to love yourself by yourself. It's much easier when you've got someone to go through the processes with. I don't want you to go through those crisis wake-ups. So that's why I bring the wake-up calls to you in the Miracle You. And then just as important, not more important, but just as important, I want to share with you that in those wake-up calls, if you pay attention to the conscious wake-ups, or you finally have to pay attention to a crisis wake-up, in paying attention to that wake-up call, there is information available to you. There's people and communities there to help you to find that fulfilled life, to find the path in your journey to the real you, the you that doesn't have to act a certain way for this group of people, or doesn't have to sacrifice themselves for that group of people. To bring that you to the world and share those things that you enjoy doing. Share the things that you're really good at in becoming that puzzle piece that fits so smoothly and so effortlessly into the puzzle of this world, and open the doors for those that you influence by your example, that you influence by your light, your smile, your comfort in the world, because you're no longer trying to live by someone else's rules, you're living by your rules. And my guests are on those journeys. And each and every one of them, I will guarantee you, if I ask them, and I haven't at this point, but maybe I'll start, if you ask them, Is your journey complete? They'll tell you no. Because they have found, by listening to that wake-up call, by taking some risks, by opening the door to find fulfillment, to find their joy, to really live in the higher vibrational emotions and a higher vibrational experience of the world, they have found that they have so much to give. And the more that they give and the more that they serve, they're opening themselves up to becoming even more. They're uncovering even more gifts. They're uncovering even more talents. They're attracting more people into their lives to form a community of like-minded, like-hearted people. And in that community, they're not getting lost. They're finding more of themselves. So that's why I share their journey. That's why I share what they're bringing to the world, how they're bringing their gifts and talents to the world. And then finally, one other thing that's in every one of the podcasts is I want to know what's next for them, what else they want to achieve, what else they want to bring to the world. It can be as simple as I want to spend more time with my family, and in spending more time with my family, I can bring more to my job. It could be as complex as I want to start a whole new business and I want to travel the world bringing food to underprivileged countries and underprivileged children. It's in finding their next desire, finding their next step, and bringing the energy of the whole of us, as I call it, the collective energy on the podcast, us together, the influence and the movement of the energy into creating that and to attracting it into their life is so empowered. That's why we're forming the community Imagination Miracles. Because in that community, how do we help each other in that growth? How do we help each other in taking the steps along the path? How do we help each other realize that the circumstances that you're experiencing right now don't necessarily need to be anything more than part of your journey? The circumstances that you're experiencing in your life right now weren't created by you to hold you back. They were created to propel you forward. And that's why I enjoy in the podcast really bringing people together who understand that those circumstances that felt like the end of the world actually brought a gift to them. And that's one of the favorite parts of our work when we do Discover Your Miracle Life is helping people find the gift in what they thought was tragedy, helping them find the gift in what they thought might be the end of the world. Because everything that happens in your life, in my life, in someone else's life, really is helping us find a gift. And yes, I know it doesn't make sense sometimes. Yes, it's hard to make sense of some of the tragedies that happen in the world, some of the ways that we treat each other, some of the things that we do to each other, some of the loss. But on the same note, there's so many circumstances in our lives that are fulfilling, that are happy. And sometimes we don't even see the gifts in those. So that's why it's important for me to talk to people about their circumstances. It's important for me to talk to the people on the podcast about their dreams, about their next steps. Because in bringing that energy into the world, you can find the gifts. In bringing that energy into the world, you can take the next step, empowered by what they call entrainment, bringing the energy of the whole together to really become a propulsion rocket for the desires of the people that share with us. So that's what the Miracle You is all about. And that's what we bring Imagine Miracles to the world for, to help you take those steps, to help you discover yourself, to help you find the gift in things, to help you raise your vibration so when you put a desire out into the world through thought and feeling, you're attracting back into your life through law of attraction, through the other universal laws, what it is that you desire. It's why we bring Imagine Miracles to the world, to help you find what you truly want. Because you will never accomplish, you'll never have, and if you do, you'll never fully be fulfilled if you're attracting what somebody else wants or what somebody else has told you you should want or what you've gathered you should want by looking at advertisements and marketing or hearing the neighbors say, well, this brought me so much happiness, and believing that because they say it made them happy, first of all, they are, or if they are truly happy, is it really what is going to make you happy? If you go to the show page, you'll find an opportunity to have a one-on-one with us. Sit down with Mary or I and really talk about what Imagine Miracles has to bring to your life. What's standing in your way? What could be the next step to help you get to the place in this life that you want to be right now? But more importantly, get to this place in your life that you were meant to be, that you chose to become when you decided that you wanted to be part of this 3D world. There's also an opportunity to learn more about what we have to offer by downloading some free gifts. So go to the show page and download that information. I hope you enjoyed this segment of The Miracle You, and I can't wait to bring another segment where it's just you and I sitting down to have a conversation, really looking at some different aspects and maybe some ways that you haven't looked at life before. On behalf of Mary and myself, we wish you a very miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleyou.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleyou.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.